Welcome back to Recycle Model Railways. I'm Paul. If you remember on the last video, I'd had a bit of a disaster after using Humbrol varnish. Two models I had painted, one went white, the other one blistered, and a third model that was pretty much brand new, not touched by me, just started orange peeling, despite the fact that all of them had been cleaned with isopropyl alcohol and then washed with soap and water afterwards. So, where are we at today? Let's see. So, as you can see, here's the three models. They have been cleaned up now. I've managed to get off all the rogue varnish. That one was all mottled, that one went white, and that one just looked awful because it peeled the paint. Acrylic paint, acrylic varnish. Not sure what that is, but I've sprayed builders before with acrylic varnish and it's been fine. So I'm guessing I had one rogue can, obviously, because I can't think of anything else. So, where have we gotten to since I last spoke to you? Well, I put in a substantial order with Phoenix Precision Paints. I decided to get all the paint I wanted for all the different modelling I was going to do. I specifically went direct to Phoenix because I wanted some of the big canisters they have, not these little tinlet things. We bought the thinners, we bought varnish, we got all sorts. Anyway, that was exactly 4 weeks today, this being Sunday, that I ordered it. I finally got hold of Phoenix on Friday to be told they'd had a medical issue, and yes, they were aware of the order, and yes, it would be delivered. And I said, when? It'll be sent out next week. Apparently that means next day. It bloody well needs to be after waiting 4 weeks. I've done nothing really with these since, but I did go out and I bought some tins of Phoenix from Peter's, my local store, so that I can at least do something. So what's the plan for today? Well, got a little bit of filling work to do to the yellow one. After I've sort of sanded it and cleaned it and everything, I've got a couple of marks on the sides where I put these new stairs in, so I'm just going to fill around them, and then I'm trying to decide. Really, I bought an airbrush, which I put on the last video. Bought an airbrush and compressor. Really want to try airbrushing. However, as you can see, I'm going to have at least what you can see, 3 different colours: black, green, and whatever this is going to be. However, that's going to be all black, that's going to be green and black, this is going to be green and grey. Different green from that on this. Do I really want to change on my first outing with an airbrush 5 different times? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5, maybe 4. Do I really want to bother cleaning the airbrush 4 times on my first go out with it? Not particularly, no. So what I'm thinking of is to just make sure these are ready to go, give them one last final clean again, and I'm going to hand paint them. In front of me, I think you can, yeah, you can see them on the screen. I've got buffer beam, I've got the green for that one, I've got the green for this one, I've got the grey that I'm putting on the roof and the top of this, and the steel for the buffers. And then I do have a little tin of Phoenix pre-thinned satin varnish, at which point I will get the airbrush out and spray them with that, and I hope to God nothing goes wrong because I can't cope anymore. Before we spray anything or paint, I am going to mask all these little brass fittings in places because I don't want to have to repaint them if I don't need to. So I'll click on and off as and when I'm doing things, otherwise it'll just be boring watching me mess on. But I'll click on and off as and when we need to, let you see the progress, and hopefully by the end of this video these things will be painted at long last. Anyway, see you in a bit. So I've jumped ahead a little bit. I've done the tiny bit of filling that I talked about. I've cheated here. I haven't got my airbrush out. I did get out this, which is a new piece of kit that I bought, which is a spray booth, which has a fan attached to it, and it does have lights, but it's daylight and I don't need them. But it's a damn good spray. I think it was about 95-99 quid off Amazon. Cuts together in seconds, all clips together, and put the lights on if it's dark. It's bloody brilliant. Came with the little turntable at the back. This one was already mine, so I put this up just for the sake of shooting into somewhere. I've got them all in primer. I have cheated, and I've used what make was it? That JENOLITE etch primer. This stuff I've used before, bloody brilliant. It normally makes sure that nothing peels, everything sticks, etc, etc. So I've cheated and used that for the sake of getting them primed up. I have resanded them, re-cleaned them, filled bits in on this one, and the little one at the back had a tiny bit done. So they're now sitting in primer. So for you guys, the next thing you'll see will be me painting them, but I've got to wait for these to dry now. So we'll catch up with you in a little while. Hey folks. Right, so since I last was here, you saw them primed. It was seconds ago for you. But we're now getting on the first coat of paint, and thankfully it's going right for a change. So this one, the black one, it's not black, it is, wait till I find it, because, hang on, oh, I've dropped it, doesn't matter. Blackberry black, I think it's LNWR. I like the sound of that, and I thought might look better than black. It just looks black, but never mind. So the black one will eventually, when I've finished, become Uncle Gerard's loco to depict the one that hauled the coal wagons into their yard. So anybody out there that wants to start nitpicking, don't bother yourselves, because it's not meant to be Smokey Joe or any other bloody thing. It's a fictional wagon. It's going to have fictional writing down the side here, which I've already made up the water slide transfers. It's going to have a fictional number on it, which is particular to my Uncle Jed. The green one is the one that I bought in error before Uncle Frank miraculously recovered a photo of the real engine. So the green one is now going to go to Uncle Jed anyway, because I've got no use for a little loco from my side. Again, somewhat fictional, because I've done that for Uncle Gerard. This one is just going to be green, and it is GWR green with the black nose, black roof, which is as it should have been. Not sure what I'm doing with that yet, or that. They were copper, didn't really like the copper, and because it's going to be fictional, I might change it. Now, one of the things I did do for the eagle-eyed, if you can spot it, don't think you can because I don't think it's bright enough, but down here there was a line, like a, what's the word I'm looking for, just like a panel line that went down here, and after that was a slightly embossed panel to put your loco number on. Now I want to put a loco number I've made up myself. I can't print that small, so I've took it away, I've cut it off, filed it down. I took the panel line off as well because it will come across too far, and then down the side of this loco on its tanks will be a name, and you can see that when it's finished. the idea is, like I've said, it's a fictional loco. It's just another daft little something I'm doing. And then the end one, the old Triang Dock Shunter. God, I wished I'd left it yellow when Uncle Jed said, no, don't repaint it, son. I really wished I hadn't, but at the same time, once I'd done all the the repairs, like the steps, the buffers, the engine, once I'd done all of that, I just couldn't send it back in its grotty yellow. So, it's currently, again, fictional, so don't shoot me. Uncle Jed isn't bothered about them being original, he just likes his Locos to look nice. So I've painted it in BR green, as some of you might recognise, I'm not sure. It's BR green, it's going to have BR freight grey on its roof, which might look alright. It's in primer at the minute. I haven't made my mind up yet whether I'm going to like it or not going to like it. We'll see what the freight grey looks like when it's on. And the radiator panel at the front might go freight grey, or I might paint it. I've got a tin of oily steel, I might paint it that. I have no idea yet. But yeah, so I'm finally back in paint. It's all Phoenix stuff. Phoenix paint has not reacted to the primer I used, the JENOLITE, but I've never had anything react with the JENOLITE. I always pick that paint, even for kind of outdoor projects and what have you. So there you go, they're in paint. They've all got full face coats. This one, no, because I was messing about with it for a little bit. So as you can see, they've all got the buffers somewhat done. This hasn't. I just want to get the green on to see if I liked it, but I do. Again, it's fictional, so don't be shouting at me. It is going to get a name put along the side where it used to say Dock Authority. Nah, it's not getting that put back on it. Again, it's going to be personalised, and so will the cab number be personalised as well. I'm going to put the engine number on the grille also. Maybe either side, or two numbers and two numbers. Don't know yet. Figure that out when I get round to it. These all three are very specific for my Uncle Gerard. Very specific. So if you think about writing something about it didn't appear in this colour, don't bother yourself, because you're wasting your time on your keyboard, because I know that. They are very specific trains for a specific purpose on Uncle Jed's layout. So they are what they are. Anyway, for the sake of this video, the next thing you'll see is them finished, as in fully painted, and transfers on. For me, that's probably going to be tomorrow now, because I need to let the paint dry before I can handle them anymore. I need to get this grey on the roof today, so that tomorrow I can get them varnished, ready for the transfers, and then hopefully get the transfers on. Coat a satin varnish after that, because obviously I'm going to gloss them up to put the transfers on, so you don't see the backing paper, and then I'll satin them afterwards to dull them back down again. So I think we're getting there. I don't think I'm going to have any more issues, although I shouldn't say that because I wasn't expecting the last one. But we're getting there. We're back to 3 models again, which at the moment I'm quite happy with. So for you it's a couple of seconds later, for me it's the next day. So as you can see, all 3 models are now painted. They are all done with Phoenix paints, as I mentioned yesterday. You can just see them here in the background. So we've got GWR green, blackberry black roof and nose end, entirely blackberry black, and British Rail green and British Rail freight grey. I didn't put freight grey on the nose. I chose to use Phoenix Precision steel. So they've now all had 2 coats of paint. Quite happy with how they've turned out. They look the part, nice and shiny, ready for the decals. Decals are printed off. If you're making your own water slide transfers, just in case you didn't know, when you've made them and printed them off, you need to spray them with a lacquer
clear lacquer. Otherwise, when you put them in the water to dissolve the back, you lose all your print. So but happy how they've turned out, particularly the duck shelter at the end, because that's been a nightmare from day one when it come in the horrible yellow colour. Quite happy with the freight grey against the British Rail green. Wasn't sure if I was going to like that, but I do. I think it looks really good at the end of the day. So we've got them ready. They're finished. They're now just waiting for the decal sheet to dry. In the meantime, if I can balance this without falling, I've been preparing these fellas. So in previous videos I was buying Locos staff at about 12 quid for 6, I think it was, and I just thought that's an expensive way to go on about it. At the end of the day, I think it does look nice when you can see crew cab. However, bear in mind you kind of see the shoulders and the heads and the flying pasture on the track. So for me, I just need the insinuation that they're there. So what you're looking at, if you haven't worked it out, is 100 in a bag from China for next to nothing. All I've done is mixed up my own blue to signify the blue overalls the war. Mixed up my own blue, slapped it all over, then gone back and painted the faces on them. I haven't painted the hands because you won't see them. Painted the faces, and then they've either got black hair or they've got brown hair. They don't get any other choice. But for me, and obviously I've painted the boots and I've muddied all of their overalls or covered them in coal, oil, whatever you want to call it. The point is, they look realistic enough for me to shove in any of the Locos and use them as they are. So nice cheap way, rather than 12 quid for 6, I think it was about 2 quid for 100. And thankfully you did get some seated ones, which will be great when we get out of diesels, because then it saves cutting the legs off people and then shoving them in. So yeah, little side project there. They're done. They've just been lacquered up to protect the paintwork so it doesn't chip off while they're in storage. So they're finished, ready to go, and so are the Locos, and I am happy with how they've turned out. So we're going to dull them down when we've finished. Once we've got the transfers on, we're going to use again, I'm trying some here. I'm looking at using laminating pouches that I use in the course of our work. I've got a couple of sheets of that ready, and I'm going to see about using it as a form of glazing in the cabs. I'm guessing you could probably buy it for the duck shunter, but I want to try it. I'm fairly certain you can't buy it for these little steam Locos, and they're only portholes anyway. So we're going to chop some of that up, glue and glaze it in, see what it looks like. Maybe on the dock shunter where the driver is, I might have one that looks like it's half open. But the next time you'll see these now will be fully assembled, back with the chassis. I'm not going to go over what I did with the chassis, I've already said that, and if you haven't seen the video, go back and look for what I did service wise. So before I take them onto gently out, I thought I'd give you a look at the finished article rather than just chuck them on the track. So the dock shunter, as you can see, has now become GR Rail, which is Uncle Jed's initials. This thing's still got its original Triang motor in it, no replacements for this one. It's had a full service, completely stripped down, everything cleaned, oiled, put back together. I've painted the chassis in Phoenix oily steel just because I thought it kind of picks up the grey off the roof. The green is British Rail Loco green, the grey is freight grey. It's had new buffers put on it, it's had hook and chain stuck on the front end, it's had the new steps put on it, and it's had a new Hornby coupling shoved on the back end because the one that was on was buggered. This is the one that's meant to emulate the actual Loco that used to run at their yard. So as you can see, let me just adjust the light a little. There, it's got Rathbone Coal written on it. The number's fictitious, but this is the Loco that went in. It didn't have Rathbone Coal written all over it. That was me just personalising it. Motor was good to go. It's just had a bit of a service. There's not a lot you can do on these. It's just cleaning it up, checking the cogs and re-oiling it. Again, this thing has had new buffers, a hook and chain put on the front, the vac pipe fitted, and it's got and the one thing I didn't point out on that one, you can just to say make it out, there's a crew member in there. There's two in the back of the black one, two in the back of the green one. So the green one was what I bought originally, thinking that it would work out for what I was going to do, till Uncle Frank provided pictures of this. So the green one then we decided was just going to become just a Loco for him, a gift. So this one had no buffers on it when it come, it had no chimney top on it when it come. The motor was pretty good. It's been serviced and I've gone through it, make sure it's all alright and oiled it and what have you. But I thought, seeing as how technically Uncle Jed's got two, would make one for me auntie as well. So this is just, there are some engines that are named, but I don't care if anybody says, well, there was nothing called Carol. Don't care. It's just meant as a daft little gift for me uncle's railway with his wife's name on it. So we put the crew on. It's, as you know, these things have been painted and painted. If the paint went wrong, then the varnish went wrong. Oh, I've stripped them 3 times from original to get them to where they are now. So I'm very pleased. I've tried, I think I mentioned it earlier in this 54-week long video that I've had to make, that I was going to try some laminating sheets for glass. It seems to have worked. It's in the Dock Shunter, which didn't have any in it, and I'm relatively pleased with how it's come out. Yes, it doesn't flush fit into the frame, blah blah, don't care. It's just to give the effect that it's got glass in it, that's it. The only thing I don't like is if you look right in the centre there, you can see, God, this thing's crap at focusing. You can see there's a little round dome in the middle on top of the buffer bar. When it came in, it had a screw through the coupling underneath into what was left of a wall plug on the top. There was no way it was going back like that. So all I've done is use an M3 hex nut, put it through, I had to ream out the hole a bit, put it through, ream out the hole in the Hornby coupling, and it's now just a hex nut and a bolt. I painted it green just for the sake of blending it in a little bit. It needs a little bit of matte varnish on it when it dries, because it's maybe not totally obvious on here, but it's a little bit shiny at the minute. So I will just quickly blow over with some matte varnish to dull it down. But they're finally done. I can't tell you how sick to death I am of these 3 engines. They have drove me absolutely nuts with the paint. But I've got there in the end. I persevered. So I think we said it last time round when we said what a disaster. If it's getting you down, just stop, step away, and then come back. Oh, and as a little side note, Phoenix Precision Paint finally delivered their order on Wednesday, I think, this week. It's Sunday today. Finally delivered the order, but I'd already gone out and bought the paints for this job. So I'll stick a little snapshot on just for those who are interested as to what I bought and why I went direct to Phoenix. It's basically because they're all big tins. So there you are. I've finally finished them. I'm very pleased with them. I'm happy that they've finally turned out right after everything. And they look the part, and I'm sure when Uncle Jed gets his hands on these, he's going to be chuffed to bits. If I've got to say anything, this is my favourite. I love this. I think it looks brilliant. Very personal, not realistic at all, but it's my favourite. I think it's just the black and gold. Don't know. But yeah, and hopefully I've took the dock shunter away from looking like that tired old little yellow thing that it was, and bringing it forward a bit with shoving bumpers on it and red buffer beams and a change of colour and what have you. But yeah, I'm happy with all of them. So I'm going to stop waffling on. Next thing will be we'll put them on Uncle Jared's layout, let them have a little run around, particularly this one because it already has 5 coal trucks with Rathbone written on them. Ideally for that, I think personally that should be carrying some of those little wee 4-wheel Caledonian coaches, maybe painted up in green and black to match this. I've got some ideas. I have got some of those. I can't remember how many I've got. I have got some, and many years ago I was talking about converting them and this, that and the other. Can't be bothered. Got more interesting projects to do. So I think when I get a chance to get up in the loft and dig through the mountains of stuff I've got up there, if I can find them, I'm going to pull them, I'm going to paint them green, black roof them, find some sort of way of putting the names on, and attach them to that to make a little sort of, I don't know, shall we say, a vintage railway for want of other ways of putting it. Oh, and one more thing before I forget, I did say that I was printing my own transfers. That was a complete disaster. I've done it once before when I did the coal trucks that are going to follow this. It's great if you are printing a colour or black on a very light background. The coal trucks were very light grey. Try and do it on dark green or black. It doesn't work. It works and you can put them on, but you can't bloody see them. So in the finish I gave up. I went to Fox Transfers and I bought 2 Gill Sands MT, 2 different sizes of just standard alphabet with numbers and exclamations and what have you, and that's how we've put these together. It's just by using a mixture of the higher case or the lower case where it says coal, and that's how we put these together. Fox Transfers ordered about 6 o'clock at night, through my front door the next day, 12 o'clock. Happy with that. Anyway, gotta go. We'll see you when it's time to be on the layout at Uncle Jed's. Ta-ra for now. So I know you've just heard me saying, oh, next thing you see is a video at Uncle Jed's. I explained at the beginning why that's not going to come on. So thank you all for persevering. I know it was a disjointed video. The main thing for me is my Uncle Jed loved them, and it's now on the next one. So the next project is the Siphon Gs that I bought, 8 of them. We're going to detail them somewhat, weather them, repaint them, rebadge them to put them into British Rail newspapers, vehicles. So, nice easy job next before we get stuck into the Scotsmans, which are going to be heavily detailed, completely repainted. I've got to physically cut 2 tenders up to make a water tender and then do some fabrication on the top. I don't know if you've ever seen the top of a water tender, but basically all the coal's got to come off and fabricate a new roof. I've got 99% in of what I need for those 2 projects. The only thing I'm waiting for is the transfers, which have been ordered for the Siphon Gs. So, note to self, before you start doing a project, get everything in first, because otherwise you sit with your thumb up your proverbial, waiting for stuff to arrive, and you just get agitated. But anyway, thank you for watching, folks. If you've got any comments, chuck them on. Good, bad, indifferent, I don't really care. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much. Catch you again. Bye bye.